pros at AAA too. Last night, Mauricio Dubon went 3 for 5 with a homer, a double, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Okay, he's 24 years old. He's from Honduras. He's hitting at a .419 clip during his current 9-game hit streak. During that 9-game hit streak, he has 18 hits, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. His yearly average is now at .312, okay? And he has set a career high this year with 10 home runs. He's their number 5 prospect. He's at AAA, and he plays both middle infield positions. Now, I know Hira's first on the food chain. I got it. But if injuries would happen, he's certainly a kid, and he's young enough and talented enough, he could step in and make a difference. How about Trent Giambroni for the Cubs? 1 for 3 last night with a homer at AAA Iowa. That's 4 straight games with a home run for Giambroni, who connected on a 2-run shot in the game last night, okay? He's been on the MLB Pipeline Prospect Team of the Week. He's had 14 home runs this season, 5 times in his last 8 games, and 10 RBIs. He's approaching his career total of 17 home runs. Giambroni, look for him if the Cubs would have an injury to possibly get the call up to Chicago, okay? Just a few more I want to go through as far as prospects go. A kid that I like a lot, I know some of you do too. How about Keibert Ruiz, the number 1 Dodger prospect? He went 1 for 4 last night with a home run for AAA Oklahoma City. So did Will Smith, hit a home run, the number 5 Dodger prospect. Both of these catching prospects went deep Monday night. Ruiz is 20, okay? It's his 4th home run of the season, a solo shot. He now has 2 homers in his last 4 games, all right? Ruiz is a better prospect than Will Smith, and we saw Will Smith come up a few weeks ago when an injury beset Barnes, the catcher, but Ruiz is only 20. They want to get him some more seasoning, but if you don't own Ruiz and you're in a dynasty league, then you need to go make some changes to that roster, okay? You really do. Giants have a guy named Ryan Howard, not the Philly great, but Ryan Howard, the Giants, soon to be great maybe. He's at AAA Sacramento. He's the 27th ranked prospect in Major League Baseball. That's right. He went 1 for 4 with a homer last night. He's 25 years old. He's a former 5th round pick in 2016. He's a contact bat. He can play all over the field. He's certainly a good prospect for the Giants. Brendan Rodgers, last one I'm going to talk about. If there is one major league team who does not manage rookies well, it's got to be the Colorado Rockies, right? Rodgers, 2 for 4 last night for AAA Albuquerque. Their number 1 prospect. Major League Baseball's number 6 prospect, guys. One of 3 Topes players last night to record multiple hits. He singled on a 2-0 pitch in his first at bat. He got another hit in the 3rd inning. It was his first game back in the minors since being sent back to AAA on Saturday. He's hit .360 with the Tropes this year with 9 homers, 10 doubles in 36 games. I just don't understand it. He is a super talented kid. He can play different positions. Why don't the Rockies just say, second base is yours, we'll live with it, go play it? I know they're in the wild card hunt. I got it. But Rodgers is so talented. If he would just be given the everyday chance and given the job and not to feel like every at-bat is a World Series at-bat. Come on. He's a kid. Rockies, let him play. That bat can hit, and you need him in your lineup. So that's just a quick look at some of the prospects to watch. I talked this morning about Alzolay for the Cubs. Again, I like the prospect that he may come in and pitch some for the Cubs while Hendricks is out. And we're going to talk some more about him in just a moment. But let me look at the chat room where we've got guest Lucy or Lucci. Glad the Braves are playing well. I responded to that. The Braves are playing great. Okay? Again, that is their division. And if they don't win it, it'll be their own fault. Okay? They're that good, and they are white coal hot right now. And guess Clayton, again, you guessed. Go ahead. Register. Get in the chat room. We'll know who you are. Like Cha-Cha he thinks I'm talking bad about him, calling him a jabroni, when all I'm talking about is a minor leaguer and not an all-star like Cha-Cha. But Guess Clayton, great question. But I love Calhoun upside. I love Mazzara. Hicks, not so much. I don't like much upside there. And I like the fact he's with the Yankees, okay? And, I love the Yankees. But I like Calhoun and Mazzara's upside, and in fantasy, I'm an upside kind of guy. So if I'm picking between those two, Guess Clayton, that's who I'm after. Thanks all you guys being in the chat room. Cam, Cha-Cha, George, all you guests. Register, be a part of this. It's a great fantasy network. You can hear us on any podcast network. We are out there ready to be heard. And I just want to thank all you guys as I take just a pause to thank you for being with us this afternoon. I was reading an article in The Athletic, and the title of the article is Adbert Alzolay is the pitching prospect who can make Cub fans forget about Dylan Cease. Now remember, Dylan Cease was traded by the Cubs to the White Sox in that Quintana trade during the World Series run a couple years ago. Alzolay, according to this article, I'm going to read part of it to you or paraphrase parts of it to you. How about that? Patrick Mooney wrote this article, and it's very interesting, and I think that it lends itself to think that Alzolay could be up with the Cubs very soon, if not this week, okay? Theo Epstein and his operations department, they have had a tough time, as I said, developing young pitchers. Maybe they have with Alzolay. The rivalry starts tonight in Chicago between the Cubs and the White Sox. The trade Jose Quintana for Eloy Jimenez, it will always be etched in the minds of Chicagoese. The Cubs needed that dependable starter to help shake the champs out of their World Series hangover, and so they go out and they get Quintana, and they also go out later and get Yu Darvish, who might be just as bad in some ways, right? The White Sox, they needed a blue-chip prospect, and so they get Jimenez. He's a 40-homer-a-year guy. They've signed him, locked him up to a 6-year, $43 million contract. So the Cubs, they knew Cease was a guy. They knew he was a frontline starter, and they hated to give him away to the White Sox, really. I mean, crosstown rival, you hate to do that. Cease, he's looking every bit the part of a promising prospect. The White Sox, he's the 38th prospect heading into the season. He's 5-2 with AAA Charlotte and is expected to be called up sometime this summer, really. And so don't you know that the Cubs, they're looking at that thinking, oh my gosh, I wish we had Dylan Cease back. They need someone to step up, and maybe Alzolay is that guy, okay? Last week, as I said, Kyle Hendricks has right shoulder inflammation. Over the weekend, the Cubs placed him on the 10-day injured list, and they've been looking for ways to acclimate Alzolay at the big league level, all right? A spot starter, too, for Alzolay could build in extra rest for their veteran starters. The Cubs are going to play 50 games in 52 days between May 14 and the 4th of July, okay? And the Cubs were hoping Alzolay would be up last year, but he had a strained lat muscle. He only had 8 starts last year at AAA Iowa, and so, he had that going on. But this year, in a very hitter-friendly environment, Alzolay has posted a 3.09 ERA through 6 starts with 46 strikeouts against 32 innings. Okay? Epstein said in The Athletic that staying healthy is the number one thing for him. He had that setback in spring training this year, but he's picked up where he left off. Epstein goes on to say in the article that his curveball has been getting a ton of swing and misses. It's a chase in the zone. He's been pitching with a lot of confidence. He has a fastball that sits at 95 plus. Okay. Epstein describes that fastball as explosive, up in the zone. He can pitch with it. He plays off of his curve. He's got a changeup. Great mound presence. He goes right at hitters. So you don't look at Alzolay as a guy who's going to walk a lot of batters. Now, they've got a guy who does, Tyler Chatwood, and right now he is tentatively scheduled to start in Hendricks' spot this week. So the Cubs, they've got Chatwood, they've got Mike Montgomery that they can put in that rotation. Chatwood has pitched pretty well this year. He's 3-1, 3.60 ERA, 35 innings. Montgomery's sort of a swing man. And so those are things the Cubs have got to balance out. But Epstein did say, quoting, "I think there always is a possibility of a solution where multiple guys get a crack at it. And one of those multiple guys is Alzolay." Okay, he certainly earned that look. As I said, great swing and miss stuff. He has a potential for injury, but he's healthy right now. The Cubs are in, second place, a half a game out. And, I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if the Cubs could develop a homegrown pitcher and he would come in, say now, you'd have, think about the homegrown talent and the batting department, so to speak. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez, you got Schwarber. 2021, all these guys become free agents, and John Lester does too. Alzolay's only 24. The Cubs have a signing bonus, $2.8 million invested in him, so they're going to, of course, give him every chance. So, the other question is, how does Joe Madden feel about him? Well, in the article, it goes on to say, Madden saying, quote, "I've never seen the guy pitch. I've only heard how good he is," end of quote. But Madden has trusted young players, and he has trusted his staff to make decisions on bringing young players up. Okay? Madden, remember, he was with Mike Scioscia in 2002 when a young reliever, K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, was brought up. And on the bench, Madden watched K-Rod help the Angels win a World Series. While managing the Rays, Madden used David Price in the 2008 World Series. And that's just the year after he was drafted number 1 overall out of Vanderbilt. Madden also, if you remember, in the 2011 playoffs, Madden named Matt Moore, making his second career big league start to start game 1 in the playoffs that year. Okay? So Madden is not a guy who's afraid to put a rookie out there. All right? Madden goes on to say this. I'm quoting from the article. It's the time of year to do it, Madden said. It's just a matter of who the guy is and who you have to evaluate the makeup, how he's going to fit in under the circumstances. Can he handle this kind of thing? And that's how a lot of your decisions are made. Okay? That's him talking. I'm going to go on to finish this quote. It matters a lot. When you're around good teams, you're going to find a lot of good makeup and people you trust. It just reads as if Madden trusts his advisors. He trusts his scouts. They're telling him Alzolay is ready. That's enough for me. I love reading this article, and I want to share, paraphrasing it. I've quoted some parts of it, sharing this article I read by Patrick Mooney out of The Athletic. And that's why I'm saying I think Alberto Alzolay is going to be up in Chicago soon, if not this week. If you can stash him in your league, then you need to do it, and you need to do it now. Now, I took that, and earlier today, and I recorded this. I'm getting ready to play a recording for you. I know you guys enjoy all that. But I was talking earlier today with Craig Mish, and you guys know Craig Mish, fantasy extraordinaire. And I was asking him about Alzolay, and I was also asking him about Brendan McKay of Tampa Bay. And I want to play a part of that clip for you right now.
Arnie in North Carolina. Hello, Arnie. How are you?
Craig, it's a pleasure talking with you. I'm doing well today, and I hope you are.
Well, thank you, Arnie, for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm good friends with Lenny Melnick, and I know you and he are good friends, so it's almost like we know each other. But
well, thank you.
Lenny,
yeah.
I guess.
Lenny is a great friend, and I believe he'll be on the show this week as well. I got to confirm that, but thank you for mentioning him as well.
Well, you're welcome. I've got a question for you, Craig, and you have more insight probably than I. Adberto Alzar for the Cubs, the AAA pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article in The Athletic, and it just reads as if they're sneaky with him, but that he may be up soon. And I wanted to get your thoughts on what you might have an opinion, your opine on Alzolay. I may not pronounce his name right, but I think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, look, the thing with the Cubs is that Hendricks